Hi, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Freakin' See. Today, we are here with our guest, Indigo. How are you doing today?
Hello, hello. I'm doing very well. How about yourself?
Y'all, I've had a stressful day. I'm fucking tired. Um,
I mean, we're all tired.
it's just everything that could go wrong has gone wrong today. Like my house, my AC unit in my tenant's apartment broke today. Just trying to have to get all of that fixed.
Especially in all this heat. Absolutely not.
My SD card that had some of my old episodes in it just like went shit today. Had to go buy a new SD card. Um, what else happened? It's just I got home, husband sick.
You were sick? You
Yeah.
didn't look sick. What do you say? What are you sick with?
So apparently yesterday, whatever we were doing in the bathhouse, he said that this because he's not used to hot and cold temperatures like drastically. So being in the
I
steam room
see.
for an extended period of time yesterday made him feel some type of way. Because I definitely got out of the steam room yesterday, and I definitely when I got home, a big old hachoo came out. I don't know where the hell that came from.
Yeah.
But I was like, so I'm prepping for this show, and I was thinking like, let's just do a lot of like sweating out, get the toxins out,
Oh, okay.
sweat. That was my ideology. I was like, some dig get sucked, some dig get sucked.
Yeah. Of course.
But it was more along the lines of let's go sweat, let's get it out. He
Yeah.
had never been to the crew club, so
Mhm.
I went once after choir practice one day, and I was not impressed.
I have not been, so I'm only going off of your opinion.
Really?
No, I've lived in this area long enough, but at the same time, you'd think I would have gone by now, but I have not.
You ain't missing shit, okay? When I tell you,
I've been to numerous other places around the country, but not this one, unfortunately.
so what's the best bathhouse you've ever heard of? or been to?
Oh, God.
I heard that one in Chicago was amazing.
So I've not been to Steamworks in Chicago. I have been to Steamworks in Seattle. That one was pretty nice.
Really? Okay.
And I have been to one in LA before, but I don't remember the name of that one, unfortunately.
Okay, bathhouses I've been to. I've been to the one in Augusta, Georgia, a Parliament
Yes.
Resort. Eh. It depends on it. So the steam room in there is actually really nice.
Yes.
It's really nice, but everything else is just kind of like it's okay. I've been to Flex in Atlanta.
Nice. Okay.
I've been fucked into an inch of my life in that fucking bathhouse. I used to fuck this one guy in there. His name was Tommy. He used to always call me and meet me there. I think Tommy was DL.
Nice.
But he was this big old, just like hefty football player sized dude with this
Awesome.
fat reverse cone dick. Like
You gotta love those where it gets like wider on the. No, you said it was wider on the top and narrow at the bottom.
no,
you
it's
mean?
near at the bottom and it
You
got
said reverse cone.
Well, I guess cone then. Like
There
I'm
you go.
thinking.
I'm like reverse cone. I'm thinking it's thicker and then it gets narrower. I've seen those.
Yes, it
But,
was.
so that's what I was thinking.
It was good, and it was always like so. Like him getting inside was really easy because it was
Yeah, because
it
you
would
just you're just kind of easing into it. It's making you
Yes.
ease into it the
But
entire time.
when he got to stroking, it's like he's boring your hole open with each stroke. So it's like,
Yeah.
But I been to Atlanta and Flex.
Yes.
Flex in Atlanta. I stopped going. When I tell you, the angels or the entities are over me. Because I used to go to Flex, not on like any. I used to ask guys to wear condoms when I used to go to Flex when I was like 19, 20 years old.
Yeah.
Young, that wasn't on prep and got through that place unscathed. And like for those of y'all who don't know, prep is Flex is on the CDC's radar for like number one contractions of gonorrhea and chlamydia in the Atlanta area. So if y'all go there,
Unsurprising.
just be careful. Not saying don't go. Just go with the open mind and a protectful and a safe mind that, things happen there. I've been to Flex in LA. That was actually nice.
That was the one I went to in LA. Because I was like, is there a Flex in LA? And I was
Yes.
like, and that's the one I went to, yes.
That one was really good. They had I loved their gym because you could work out in there naked.
So I didn't use the gym. I went so late in the day. It went so late at night, and also this was like when I was 24. I wasn't a gym nut then, so I didn't really care.
It was good. You would love it. I was
Yes.
in there trying to look like I was working out. I wasn't doing shit because at the time I wasn't a gym person either.
There's one in Cleveland. I don't think it's Flex as well, but there's a bathhouse in Cleveland that during Cleveland Leather Awareness Weekend they have their various parties there as well, and there is a gym in that place as well.
That's
yeah.
really good. It's my dream one day to just be benching and get my dick blown at the same time. Like I think that would be really good.
I mean, just make sure you're not going for a PR. You might need to be focused when you're doing those. So
I
would
mean,
just say, as long as you're doing a weight that you can handle, at that point, then you can like balance the two.
What's the most you think you could bench and get your dick sucked at the same time?
Oh God, probably like, oof. I can bench 265 pretty easy these days, so that would probably not.
I think I could comfortably do 225 and get my dick blown.
Nice.
Not anything over that.
I would have to like make sure my feet are planted on the ground. I'm doing it, and then someone. Yeah, there you go.
Okay, how about Larson press? What could you do Larson press and get blown?
Larson press? Oh, probably around 225. Absolutely. 225. I mean, it's mostly just because I haven't done Larson in a bit. So, but I mean, 225 very easy because that weight is pretty easy for me.
those of you who don't know what Larson press is when you bench and you keep your feet off the bench, like off the ground. Your feet are elevated in here, so you're literally just using your chest muscles. But yeah, I've been there, and
I'd have to be hard before I go down there because once I'm in the lift, I'm focusing so much on that it'd be hard for me to keep track of both things. I might just go, huh?
Take your little honey pack before you do it.
There you go. I mean, that's one strategy.
So L.A., Atlanta, Augusta, D.C.
Yes.
And I think that those are the only bathhouses I think I've been to. That's it.
There's one in Philadelphia I've been to as well. I don't remember the name of that one though. I went there during the Philadelphia Leather Contest weekend and stuff. That was pretty fun. I don't remember the name though.
I've never heard of that one, but I'm gonna definitely try the one when I go to LA. When I go to or Chicago in a couple weeks.
Nice.
But okay, so whole stories. What have you done lately? What you been up to?
Oh God, what have I done lately?
Who have you done lately? What have you done lately?
Well, a friend of mine actually visited me this past weekend. They're a local friend, but we haven't actually spent time together in a while. And he came on down on Sunday, and after the gym, we just kind of chilled a little bit, and then we just really went at it, and it was really fun. They are. I've known them for so long, and it was really nice to be able to kind of like have that experience with them again.
Are you more of a lover, or do you? So like, I know people probably look at you and like same as me, and they probably think you're just like a super aggressive person. I don't think that of you because I know you. And what I've met from you, you're a very genuine person. But do people like look at you and think like you're just like this aggressive person sometimes sexually?
I guess sometimes. It really depends. And it's not that I can never get aggressive or anything like that. It's more that I tend to be very aware when I am, intimate with someone.
He definitely is.
So like it especially because like when it comes to like intimacy and everything like that, we tend to think we like to think that we want it to just be this, wild and crazy thing, and it can be, but that doesn't mean you can't be, thoughtful during the whole process, Like
So,
you can then like you can transition from being like, okay, I'm asking you questions about what X, Y, and Z is, and then okay, now we're getting really deep into the wildness of it, and then you can just kind of reel back after like maybe 20 minutes of that.
With most of your like hookups, do you think you're more are you very aware of the person every time, like if it's somebody new or someone you haven't played with in a while? I know this is why I ask you. I went to a pool party on Sunday, and I got kind of like groped, and I didn't like it.
Okay.
And you came to mine. So we danced recently, right?
Yes, we did.
And here in Chicago, and one of the people that you were with, I remember you were there in front of them, and you were looking at them, and you were just like, "What are your boundaries? What can you do? What are you okay with?" And you went through this checklist before you played in that space, and I'm like, "Oh, that's so nice!" Like you were so in the moment with that person. You didn't want to like objectify them or anything, but and I know you've done things prior, but like you did a recheck with this person, and I went to this little pool party, and the person just decided it was okay to just grope the fuck out the back of my neck.
Yeah.
And like even yesterday at the bathhouse, like like I'm getting ready to nut, and this guy walks up to me and he's just like, "You're not gonna nut till I tell you to." And I was like, "Motherfucker, I can nut whenever the fuck I want to."
Excuse me? Did he inject himself into your space at that moment? Like, had he been part of that whole moment, or
he'd been part of it?
He'd been part of it.
He'd been part of it.
Oh, okay.
But then like
he just walked up and said,
No.
That would be different.
He's playing with my nipples, and I'm I'm about to come. And he's like, "You're not gonna come till I say." So I said, "I'll come wherever the fuck I want to come." Like I don't give a shit.
We didn't have this dialogue beforehand. You didn't. I didn't give you permission to control my orgasms.
So I've always wondered, like, because you're one of the few people I know that like takes the time, even on like encounters and casual encounters, to be like, "Where are you right now?"
Yeah, because then it's going to be a shitty encounter if you don't ask.
I'm so tired of people like projecting their sexual interests on others to just be like, oh, well, because everyone thinks that everyone's into like the whole like daddy thing, or everyone thinks that people are into the whole dom, or
Well, some people are.
some people are, but like people meet in these spaces and they're just like, let's do this, and I'm just like, I still think even in the bathhouse, it's like when I'm in the bathhouse, I ask guys like, what do you like?
Yes.
I do, and and a lot of guys in the bathhouse, sometimes this is not the place to look for love, y'all. Like,
Oh,
you
God,
understand?
no.
It's
If you
it's
are
somewhere to
trying
go
look for love
nut.
in a bathhouse, you're never going to succeed.
It's not.
I mean, maybe if you are one of those people that then meets up with them outside the bathhouse, then maybe. But if you're only seeing them there, that's not going to happen.
But
Absolutely.
even in the bathhouse, even though I know a lot of y'all are DLing, you're going back to your wives and your families and your kids to have dinner at the table, I understand that it's still good to ask.
It is.
What do you like? Don't
Absolutely.
just think that because I'm some big black fucking 5'10" dude that's 250 pounds that I'm finna come in here and wreck your hole. What if I'm a submissive little bottom?
Yeah.
Bitch, you don't know.
Absolutely.
You don't know me. Anyway, thank you for your encounter in your little hotel. We love it. Mine was yesterday. I shared it on my Instagram today. I almost died in the bathhouse.
Oh, God.
I went in there dehydrated and decided.
There's your first problem.
Well, I thought I had enough water in my system, and apparently I did not.
How many liters had he drunk that day?
Y'all, my coach gonna get on me if I say this on live. I'm supposed to drink a gallon a day, and
Okay.
I did not have the entire gallon at that time.
Okay.
But prior to going into the steam room,
Okay.
I definitely did drink about 12 ounces of water.
12 ounces?
I sure did. And I was drinking it in the steam room as I was walking through. And then there was this overhead light. And, like, especially when it comes to posing, you always look good with overhead lighting when it comes to posing. So,
Generally, yes.
I'm sitting in the bathhouse and on the steam wall, naked, jacking off.
Yeah.
And, like, I know I look good under this light. Like,
You're like, okay, let me make sure I'm, like, positioned here
I am
properly
positioned,
while
I
do
am
this.
posed on the wall, and I look great.
Yeah.
And, a couple guys came over. So I currently have a PA in right now. And
Nice.
everyone thinks it's okay to just grab my dick with a PA. And, like, granted, I understand I'm in this open space and people are going to touch. People are, like, grabbing.
What gauge PA are we talking?
I'm at 8.
Okay.
So I got pierced at an 8. I didn't gauge to an 8.
Okay. Look at you, Mr. Adventurous.
I got pierced exactly 2 months ago. As of July 9th, 2 months ago.
Why are you going to a bathhouse?
It's healed. I think it's healed. It looks
2
good.
months?
So
I used to have one, and 2 months is absolutely still a healing phase.
So I just wanted to.
I was too aggressive with it before. I was too aggressive with it during a session one time, and I paid for it with tenderness. I paid for that.
When did you fuck after you got your PA?
It was about 4 months after, but then that time I did do it, it came out and it never went back in. Mostly because I took it out because it was uncomfortable for me.
Really?
Yeah.
They told me 4 to 6 months before I could fuck, but I can get blowjobs. And I can do oral things with it, and like I'm finally at the place where I can just like whack it, but I can't like I haven't fucked yet. I haven't.
Definitely wait, and especially is it a ring or is it a curved barbell?
It's a curved barbell.
Okay, definitely wait a little bit, just because it's going to feel interesting feeling the metal as you do it, and you just kind of have to get used to that feeling.
And that was the thing yesterday. So this guy was sucking my dick yesterday, and like I guess guys are just used to like staying on the head. And because
they think that's where
they think, and for me,
they think all the sensation is.
For me, that's where none of the sensation is right now. Like it hurts.
Fascinating.
So like the sensation is there, but when they're so like my husband knows how to suck my dick with my PA in it.
Oh yeah,
he knows like
I hope so.
Of course. But at the bathhouse, everyone's just like doing whatever they want to do
because they're
moving my PA around.
Sucker, that's why.
So I pushed the guy's head down. I'm like, I want my dick in the back of your throat. I don't want it at the tip of your mouth because you're just doing too much with your fucking teeth right now. And then after that, I remember this one guy. He was getting his dick sucked, and the guy sucking his dick, and he's just there. And then he left, and then he came back, and then he started playing with me, and so I went to go suck his dick.
Nice.
That man saw Jesus. He definitely.
You love to see it.
When I tell you the way I left his dick sloppy and slimy, and he was in there, and I remember he was in there, and he looked at my husband, and he was like, "Is this your man?" And, and he's like, "Yeah, that's my husband." He's like, "God damn."
Love it.
Look, I don't boast about a lot of things sexually, but I give damn good head. I
own it. If you do, you do.
If I had to use one sexual trait to say like one thing about me, y'all gonna laugh. I don't squat for dick. Like those days are over.
You know what for dick?
I can't squat for dick. Like riding dick.
You can't.
It's not a thing anymore.
You can't squat for. I've never heard of this phrase.
I'm not squatting, riding, scooting over dick. It's my knees just gave out. I can't do it no more. I can't.
So I'm trying to. Wait, so I'm trying to visualize squatting for dick. Do you mean getting fucked, or do you mean getting on your knees to suck dick?
When I'm getting fucked, like when my husband's laying on it, because that's the one thing my husband loves. He loves to get rode, and I get over
Honestly,
him.
That's the most boring position for me.
I get over him, my knees just go.
No. Okay, no. So one, how are you riding him exactly?
Prior military meniscus is just out. Any type of squatting.
Are you squatting, or are you putting your legs down and you're doing
knees?
Kind of like
we have tried every
curls?
position.
Okay.
Like my knees just cannot sustain my weight. It's just it's not
so you're saying you don't do doggy style either because you have to be on your knees.
No, doggy style I can do because I can post myself up with my arms.
Okay, even though you're on your knees.
Even though I'm on my knees, but when the entirety of 250 pounds is on my knees.
Gotcha. Okay.
And to repetitively squat over is I can't do it no more.
I get it.
It's not my thing. I'd rather top than. Luckily, being fully versatile, I've been doing a lot more topping lately. And the guy I met in the bathhouse yesterday, he was talking to me and he was just like, are you looking to get fucked? And I was like, not today.
Sometimes you're in your moods. I get it.
And he was like, well, I'm versatile. And I was like, me too. It made me so happy to hear someone in the bathhouse say that. Because most guys come in there and they kind of have like, I'm here to fuck or I'm here just to.
Well, those people can be versatile too, but sometimes they just really want to do one specific thing. And they don't want, even if they're versatile, they don't want to do anything else. Yeah. Because there's definitely moments where I'm just like, I really don't feel like topping today. And I'm like, even if someone wants to, I'm just like, oh, do I have to right now? It's because I didn't come here for this.
100%.
So like, yeah.
All right, so let's get into this episode today. Awesome. So we're going to talk about your experience as a go-go dancer.
There's actually one thing I can't talk about. I'm sorry.
About what?
No, no.
I
fucking messing with you.
I was like,
you thought I was fucking serious.
I was like, were we not finna talk? I was like, did I miss something?
No, you did not.
So we're going to talk about your experience as a go-go dancer. Yes. So I pulled up some facts about go-go dancing today, and I wanted to go over some of them and see how you felt about them. So it says that in the mid-1960s, gay clubs in the U.S. featured go-go boys between like 1965 and 1968 before, when the clubs were opening up.
Yeah.
And there was a surge in the 1980s in New York's Anvil, followed by a widespread of popularity in 1988. It goes on to say that one of the interesting facts I saw... go-go dancers often get hit on more when they're sweaty, not just for the body, but their sweat releases pheromones that trigger subconsciously. How do you feel about that?
I mean, that's just basic science at that point. Like, seriously, humans react to smell a lot more than we think. Like, seriously, even subconsciously.
So as when I go-go dance, I don't sweat that much.
Yes, you do. You don't sweat as much as other people.
As other people, I don't.
Sweating.
When I get into it, I do start sweating. But like when I start out, I don't sweat much. But I like to go on the stage glistening because you just look shiny.
Yeah.
So I always put on coconut oil, a little bit of coconut oil.
I mean, that's just a very good practice to do.
Yes, I rub down a
coconut oil can smell like a little nice.
Yes.
Stuff like that. So there's also that. I mean, there's some people that have coconut allergies, but you're hoping that you're not running into them.
Oh my God, that would be a thing.
I've
never thought about that.
I know, but. It's hopefully you're not going to run into that person.
Could you imagine somebody tipping you and then going to anaphylactic shock because you got coconut?
Breaking out into hives.
Oh my God.
Yeah, no.
That would be so fucking bad.
That would be bad. It would be a story to tell, though.
Oh, shit. I think I would just stop dancing for the rest of the night. I'd be like, I got to go home.
I wouldn't blame you, but at the same time, it'd be, like I said, you just kind of roll with it. Yeah.
So... this one is not true for me, but it just says studies show that men's sexual arousal increase when they feel objectified in performances. Many go-go dancers report feeling more in control and more confident the less they wear. How's that for you?
So you said that they feel more like they feel like better being objectified is what you're saying?
Some of them do, yeah.
So I would say that especially when you're going to be putting yourself out there like in front of people and making and wearing things that are very sexually suggestive, basically wanting someone to come up to you and say like, "Oh my God, you look so hot. I kind of do want to like have sex with you right now." Like, so I would say that it depends on the headspace you're in, usually that night, or how you get into something. Because sometimes you can feel powerful. Sometimes you can feel like you're able to you can do whatever you want because like, oh, this person, I have this person in the palm of my hand because they think I'm sexy. But at the same time, it's a fine line because while yes, they're objectifying you, but then they also feel like they have a power over you in that moment sometimes. So it's
That is
about
very
it's
true.
about the balance with that because you might feel like you have a power over them, but they also might feel that they have power over you now because oh, you have to do what I say, or because like oh, you have to earn my tip kind of thing. So
Ooh.
it's a push and pull, and it's sometimes when someone is going to be harder to work in that way versus other people, and because some people are easy to I guess work for tips because they seem to kind of just be like if they look like they're about to fall over just because they're looking at you, or if they're kind of entranced
Putty in
by
the
you,
hand.
yeah, if they're entranced by you, then you can be like okay, then I don't have to do much.
Yeah.
But if someone's kind of just like trying to by exert, it usually means that oh, they might be more handsy with you a little bit, or they might just kind of grab you, pull you close a little bit. That's kind of them exerting their power over you, and so it's about the balance with that. So I would say that you can feel powerful, but you might not always be able to exert that power on every person.
So I always love to stay in control when I'm go-go dancing. So
Mm-hmm.
I remember it's funny you say that because I had this the last time I danced in Atlanta.
Mm-hmm.
Um, a bitch does well for himself. He is fortunate. God is
Yeah.
good. But I was on the box, and like I'm fortunate enough because I know some go-go dancers that like that's their full time job. Like
Yeah.
they are doing this to
Not many
earn their
people can do
money.
it full time, but yes, it's
Exactly.
usually supplemented with other things. But
But they're
yeah,
doing this either with OnlyFans, and they're doing the go-go dances. They're booking. I know one guy. He told me he did 6 gigs in a week, and I was like, damn.
too much.
Um, I couldn't
Not
do it.
me.
But I was on the box, and this man, he came up to me, and then he was just like, he's like, "Oh, you gonna have to dance if you want my dollar." And I was like, "Oh, I'm good. Like, I'm up here, I'm dancing." And he was just like, "I guess you don't want this dollar." Well, he's like, "I guess you don't want this dollar." I said, "I make good money. I don't need your dollar."
Dollar? He's making you work extra for $1?
And then this other guy
Who is
next to
this
him,
man?
the guy next to him was like, "Oh, baby, he needs his coins. Don't do that." I was so offended. I was like, "Excuse me?"
God.
And he's just like, "Yeah, don't you gotta dance?" I was like, "Baby, if you want to get up here and do my job, you are more than welcome to get around this box and come dance.
Exactly.
I don't have to work as hard because one thing about me when I go dance, like I dance and I be tired at the end of the night.
Oh yeah.
The last 3 gigs I've done, I've been invited to go have sex, and I looked at them and I was like, not today.
The energy to do anything after a gig, they're usually on something. Okay?
I couldn't do it. I was
No.
like, and it sucked because the first one I got invited to, I really wanted to go have sex with them because I
Yeah.
blew one of them during the night.
Nice.
And it was really fun. And at the end of the night, they were like, "Hey, do you want to come back to our place? There's 3 of us going." And I was just
Ooh.
like, I had been up since 6 a.m. that morning, and it was now 3 a.m. the following day, and I was
Absolutely
like,
fuck not.
I was like, nah, y'all, I think I gotta go home.
Oh, no. The latest I've gotten home from a gig was when it was IML International Mr. Leather Weekend last year, and I was doing a gig at Jackhammer. Unfortunately, because it's on the weekend, there's parties everywhere, and so that gig was. It was okay. And I ended up getting back to the hotel at 5 a.m. and I hated myself.
Oh. No,
Because I was already up pretty early that day as well. So I was up for almost 24 hours. It was fucking crazy. And I'm like, never again.
I'm not gonna
Ever
hold
again.
you. When the gig is over, I'll be looking for the check. I'm like, because I always show up early. Like I'm one of those dancers that shows up early. I don't
Yeah.
show up when it's
No, no,
time.
we
I
closed up.
case the joint out so I know like where to go when I'm chilling. But when the gig is over,
No, it's because I had to. We closed at the bar. It's because we closed at the bar, and also we ate afterwards because I was fucking hungry. And there was this place that was open, like it was like Mexican place next door. I destroyed some food there. It was so fucking good.
yeah, y'all. If I ever dance in your city, and you see me dancing, just know I'm not gonna fuck nobody after the bar because I'm completely sober right now. I don't do drugs and I don't even drink. So when I'm dancing, it is pure energy. So at 3 a.m. when I'm done, I'm done.
I even try not to even be up until 3 a.m. depending on the gig. Sometimes I end at like 2 and I'm like, okay, I'm gone.
Yeah.
I don't need to be staying here longer than I need to.
Because when we danced for Furball, he had us there from 11:30 to 3 a.m.
Well, that's the thing. Why would you start a gig at 11:30? So many that's such a late start to a gig time, in my opinion. I mean, I'm not gonna. It's their thing. I'm not gonna say when they should start, but at the same time, I'm usually used to gigs starting at least at 10, and then 10 from like to maybe 2. That's like a solid 4 hours. 4 hours is a very average gig, and I'm like, that's perfectly fine. I am great with that because I know the length to expect, and usually 2 a.m. is not so late that I can't get to bed within the next hour and then wake up still at like 7 in the morning.
Because I'd be trying to, I don't like my days being wasted, and especially when you're getting home at like 2 or 3 o'clock, you're not getting up because my body's gonna wake me up at 8 o'clock.
Oh no, I know. Yeah, my body hates me and is an early riser all the time.
If I dance till like 3 or 4 a.m., I'm still getting up early.
I know.
It doesn't just shut off because I went to bed late.
Yeah, if I'm in bed by like 3:30, I'm still waking up at 9, and I'm like, I hate it because I'm just like, that's like 5.5 hours of sleep, and I'm like, it's fine.
The one that we danced for, Furball, when I go to Chicago in August, I dance for Furball Friday night, and his is the same thing, 11 to 3, and then I dance at Jackhammer the next day, and that's from 10 to 2.
Ugh.
So I know I'm going to have to catch me a good old nap in between the day.
Yeah.
Okay, let's get into the segment. All right, so today's is Bodies in Motion, Gogo Vibes, and Sexual Energy. So, tell us who Indigo is beyond the booty and the shorts.
Ugh.
Who are you?
Well, I'm not usually dancing in booty shorts because, most of the gigs I'm at, you can
What
at
are you
least show.
in?
Usually I'm showing full fucking ass and jock strap, for God's sake. Booty shorts. What kind of fucking place is this? So Indigo, he is someone that has gone through evolution many times, essentially. He kind of first coalesced in like 2015 as this young, naive pup, and has grown into a full-on bull dad now, with still his inner pup and everything like that. And I would say that he is someone who tries to be, cognizant of both himself and others in a space, as well as know that, while each of us, especially when it comes to in sexual spaces, each of us are trying to get our rocks off of course, but we still have to consider the person that we're getting our rocks off with. At least that's what I'm always thinking about all the time, just because it's more fun that way. Because if like the moment something becomes awkward for someone else, then that energy can just transfer out to other people and stuff like that, and we don't need that, if we can help it.
So what pulls you into being a go-go dancer?
Ooh, so that was just something that I just kind of decided I wanted to try out.
Same.
It was back in 2017.
I just joined on.
And the Baltimore Eagle at the time was introducing dancers into their place. This is when it was under the management of Chuck and Greg when it first opened back then. And basically, they said they just put out a call like, "Hey, if you want to try out, you should do so." And I did. I tried out with a friend, and we had a good time. It was fun, and I decided to do it that way. Eventually, the person who was scheduling the dancers and stuff had to step back because their life just got a little bit hectic, and they couldn't do it anymore. And so I stepped up, and I actually became the person that scheduled the dancers at the Baltimore Eagle for like a solid length of time. It was over a year at least.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so that was pretty good. So I kind of got into managing the schedule every week. Like, these two people are doing it these times, and I managed people trying out all the time. I got people into the go-go cycle as well that way. So it's been an experience since then, and so over time,
he was the pimp daddy of the go-go dance
for one bar, and then eventually, I actually started helping to manage the go-go dancers at the event called Bear Cave at Green Lantern in DC for DJ Poppers, and so I'm still involved with that, and so now I've kind of just branched out where I've started dancing for bigger events now, and I pace out my dancing now these days.
Tell the people the last person you danced for because come on, recognition, who you danced for.
Oh God. Oh yeah.
When I saw
technically the last person the last big gig was Furball. I also do gigs at Kiki sometimes. The Kiki bar in DC, but as far as big gig, the last one was technically Furball when I danced with you, and no, take that back. It was Folsom East in New York is
Oh,
what I
you
last
did
did.
dance
Yeah,
there.
and this is not my first time.
Yes.
This is my third time doing it.
Okay.
And it's always fun. Oh my God. Folsom East in New York is so
That is
amazingly
definitely
fun.
on my kink list for next year.
Definitely go next year. It's great. Oh my God. But yes, I was able to dance for Solid Pink Disco, which is a big party for Trixie Mattel, and it was during World Pride.
Yo, he was up there on Trixie's stage.
It was so
looking
fucking
good
cool.
in his high thigh socks, looking like a goddamn boy.
It was so good.
I saw him when I tell you I had so much black boy joy seeing him on that stage because you danced with what's his name?
Irie?
Irie, yes, he
I
danced with
did.
Irie, and I just saw you. I was like, look at the brown boys doing it. I was
yeah.
so happy for y'all.
It was so
I really
fucking awesome.
was.
That energy there was a really good. I mean, Trixie Mattel. I mean, her playlist set was really her set, like her music set was really good. And she played a lot of the music that I vibe to. So I'm like, this is even more fun. And so no, that was
How was
that's the
dancing
biggest-
for that crowd?
crazy because
Because it's different from being at a bar and then like,
yes.
how was that?
That is literally the biggest crowd I've ever danced
This is
to.
Gogo royalty right here.
No, okay, I wouldn't say that, but it's literally the biggest crowd I've ever danced to, and there was not much interaction with people just because there's kind of like there's a space between us and the crowd and with the security and stuff like that, which makes sense for a gig like that. They don't want people to be right on the stage, especially when Trixie Mattel's if she's gonna walk in front of it. They don't want people to reach for her and stuff like. I get it, so it was different, and so literally we were kind of more props than kind of like direct to the people go-go dancers, but it was still really
Did they throw
fun.
dollars at you though?
No, unfortunately. I did get a $10 tip though for walking past someone in the VIP section to get off the stage. So there was at least that because the gig paid a decent amount for what the time they were offering us. So I'm like, okay, that's fine.
What's the most you've made in tips on a go-go gig before?
Oh fuck. Don't ask me because I've done so many gigs now. I don't remember the last biggest amount. I know I've made like at least on a decent night even in a small bar, I made like $100-something on a night before, and that was just at a bar night.
Because we be working for that money. That money be wet. So I work in a government building, and I remember the last time. So my bank doesn't let me I have USA, so they don't let me bring like cash. There's no like main USA doesn't have any banks. It's only online.
Oh, okay.
So
gotcha.
where I work, there's a bank there. So I went to work the next day. I'd opened up an account there.
Nice.
And I went to work and I had all these ones.
Oh yeah.
And my coworker was like, "Where the fuck did all the ones?"
I usually try to use the ATM for that, but at the same time, sometimes I'm not able to, and I have to go directly to like the teller. And I'm like, and usually they're not like soaking. There may be a smidge damp when I give it to them, and I'm like, I'm just trying not to. Think
it was a stack of ones.
They handle so much money in a day. They got hand sanitizer. They're fine. Okay.
My coworker, he's like, "Are you stripping?" I said, "Not exactly. I'm already half naked, but the money was wet when it came off of me. I can definitely tell you that."
It's it becomes very sweaty.
All right. So, how do you personally define connection in a sexual space? Like, is it touch for you? Is it eye contact to you? Like, what is that for you? Because I like being in the go-go scene. One go-go dancer, I met him in Atlanta. He was amazing, and I think for me, like in my mind, because I'm doing this for the fun of it.
His name Adam?
No, his I can't remember his name.
I was gonna say if it was Adam, because I know Adam.
Adam
too.
works at the Eagle. I think so.
No, he doesn't.
Where does he work?
He usually does a lot of the bear-related events. Like he's done Barracuda and stuff like that.
Sinister was his name. That's his name.
Sinister?
He's a black dancer at the Eagle.
Okay.
But I'm always super cautious. Like I think the most comfortable gig I've ever had was the gig I did with Sinister and the gig I did at Furball. With you, also with what was happening in the changing room. That was just a fun night.
It was a fun night for that,
It was
yeah.
a very fun night. We
That
had
was very fun.
we had a personal fluffer y'all back there just fluffing it up. It was
That was my friend, and he actually messaged me afterwards that he said he really needed that night, so it was really good.
That was a good night.
Yeah, it was.
But I've always super like cautious of going into those sexual spaces with other dancers because I've met some go-go dancers that have like hella egos, and like, I go into it with very much of a mindset of just like, y'all, I'm here to have fun. Like this money ain't paying nothing major. It's just pocket money. But I really like going into them to have fun. And when I'm in those sexual spaces, sometimes with other people, and they some of them are objectifying you, and some of them are not.
Yeah.
I always get a little cautious sometimes. I always have to feel the crowd out first.
Oh yeah.
So like, how do you feel like when how do you define connection in those spaces for you?
So it really depends on. So it's some gigs don't really allow you to be super social. So some gigs are like you're going on the stage or you're going on the box and then you go back to the green room and then you come back out. You don't really do much socializing outside of that, right? Because some and because like for example the Solid Pink Disco, for example, that was like you're on the stage or you're in the back. Like it's you didn't really get to interact with the crowd too much outside of that and everything. So that energy is more of like, okay, I don't really have to worry about stuff unless one of the backside crew or maybe one of the other dancers are going to be a bit too fresh with me, or something like that. But that was not going to happen because we were sweaty and hot and we were focused on trying to pace ourselves. But in other spaces where there's a lot more interaction with the crowd, like maybe like Barracuda, or if you're or a local bar where there's definitely a lot more interaction with the crowd, like Dancing at Green Lantern. On my off time, I'm usually just on the floor of the bar around everyone else. So obviously, I'm going to be around other people. And so I would say that when it comes to connection, some connections are easy to make because sometimes you can be like, you see someone, they're just kind of like drinking their drink, and you're like, oh hey, how's it going? Especially if you like if you like what you see, and you could just like talk with them, and then you can kind of gauge if they actually want to be interact with in that moment. Or sometimes some people then are really forward when you're off and with the crowd.
Yes.
And they'll be a little bit more handsy, and you can gauge how they are.
Quick note to y'all: when y'all see these go-go dancers come off these boxes, just because they were up on a box being sexual and dancing does not give you guys the right to just come and grab.
Oh no,
like
absolutely
that is not a thing. So understand that.
Consent
please.
is still very sexy, and so therefore
on and off the box.
Yes. So I would say that if someone starts to grab, and if you. It's about the dance with the whole, like, okay, if they maybe like grab your leg or something like that, or grab your arm, and you lean into it and you let them do it, and then when you pull away, they don't keep doing it. Generally, that means that they at least can recognize body language, or even if you communicate, something, or if you push them away or something like that, if they don't kind of get upset about that. Generally, at least that means that they at least understand what's going on in the moment. There have been moments where when you enforce a boundary, some people just kind of get upset and just walk away.
Yeah,
I've never been cursed out or like yelled at or anything like that for trying to enforce a boundary, which is good. And sometimes a lot of these people are drunk and inebriated, and so therefore they're kind of in a space where just like, and then they just kind of move on, right? And when it comes to connection, I'm very much an eye person.
Yeah.
So like if we're looking at each other and we're able to kind of like really just kind of communicate non-verbally that way, that's a great way to kind of like form a good connection. I remember like a while ago that it was funny. This is not at a gig, but this is during Mid-Atlantic Leather Weekend. I was walking back.
Y'all, it's in January. Get your tickets. It's coming.
It's really good.
I want to be there.
It's really fun. I was walking in the hallway going back to, it was either my room or a friend's room. And I passed by someone in the hallway, and it was crazy. We both passed each other. We were going to a room that were like doors down from each other. And we both came out and looked at each other again. And then we actually ended up talking and playing around. So like, see, it's one of those things where like, it's because like, we were able to kind of do that communication with our eyes very well,
Look back.
So yeah, no, it's if someone is able to kind of like like schmooze me with their eyes, that's that.
So when y'all see him on the box,
Yeah.
y'all gotta make that eye contact.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Be good at it. Not everyone's good at it. Some people just do a stare, which is not the same as
I got a question for you.
Trying to come hither me.
Do you ever? I call it the God complex, and I hate it.
Okay.
Do you ever get into the stance when people just get to the point where they're staring not awkwardly, but they're staring in awe and they won't talk to you at all?
Oh yeah.
I call it the God complex because like I'll be on the box and I'll see somebody and they'll just literally be like up there and they're just like, and they're just looking at you and like and I'll reach down and I always reach down and I look at people and I'm like, you can say hi, and they're just like.
Yeah.
And I think the crazy thing, which I think is so sad, especially in our community, is like when people see hot guys in the box and then like you're actually genuinely nice to them when you get off the box. Because it's surprising to me how many people come up to me and they're just like, you're nice and hot. And I'm like, yeah.
Yeah.
But like we are people just like the rest of y'all, even though we are up on the box.
Absolutely.
It's not that we're trying to objectify ourselves. Like for me, go-go dancing is very liberating. So like I used to come, I used to be very uncomfortable in my body. I don't want to say I used to be a certain way because one of the things I've learned being a go-go dancer is that there is a body type for everybody.
Oh yeah,
and anybody can do
absolutely.
this. It is being a go-go dancer to me. 100% is about your confidence level. It's like how can you get up on that box and how can you show the people that you love where you're in the moment that you're in.
Absolutely.
Has nothing to do about how you look.
Absolutely.
Don't get me wrong, like certain body types for certain events, like you also have to play your crowd. Like if you go to a Barracuda event, it might play in your if you trying to make money, it might be in your favor to be a barrier guy. But still, whether you make money or don't make money, it's like having that confidence on the stage. Because I've been to events where I didn't make that much money, but people come up there and they say they love watching me dance.
Absolutely.
I'm in that space and I'm in that headspace and like I'm doing this because it's liberating. It really is.
Absolutely agree. Absolutely agree.
I love it, y'all. That's why I be so tired at the end of the night, y'all. Oh my God. All right. Yeah. So do you think being a go-go dancer has impacted how people approach you sexually?
I would say maybe yes. Mostly just because not everyone knows that I do gigs and stuff like that. Because unless they've seen me at a gig, most people don't know immediately unless they like keep track of my social media feed or something like that. But I would say that yes, it does, because it kind of, when people say that, oh, that like, oh, you are dancing up there on that box, or you're at this gig and stuff like that. Like, I mean, I feel that you're kind of like someone that is kind of outside of, like, you're out of my league or something like that.
I hate when y'all say that shit.
No, and no, that's absolutely not the thing, because in the end, like, you can just still come up to me and just say hi. And if we vibe, then we vibe. But if we don't, then we don't. It's about acknowledging that you're not going to vibe with everyone that you're even encountering, right?
True, very much true.
Because if I had that attitude toward everyone as well, I wouldn't have half the connections I do now. Yeah. Because you just kind of have to take a risk with it, and if someone is not going to take the time to actually go beyond just oh hi and then just turn away and stuff like that, that just shows that there's so many other factors, but you can't control that.
I definitely do agree with that. And just like, we are people at the end of the night, y'all. Like, when y'all see us up on these boxes, one of the things I love to do as a go-go dancer is I like to get off the box. And I literally will get off the box and I will get down and go dance with people.
Oh, yeah.
Especially, like, when I see girls in there, or when I see, like, even, like, younger guys and they're really dancing, I will get off the box and go dance with you. And people will look at me and be like, aren't you supposed to be? I'm like, look, I'm here to have a good time.
Oh, yeah.
The whole point, like y'all don't understand, like, go-go boys are not just supposed to be pretty people. They're literally supposed to energize people. Like, they're supposed to see you go, go, go.
The amount of boring ass dancers I've seen out there. Oh my God.
Oh my God.
Don't get me started about that. The ones that just do a two-step and just stand there. And I'm like, ma'am, you can do way more than that. Or like, you're being paid how much for this? Or you're being called back for this? Like, what? Do not get me started. Do not get me started.
I'm very salty about that. I did a gig. I did a gig at the Baltimore Eagle, and like,
well, there's your first problem.
I love the Baltimore Eagle. They've been really good to me. But
good.
I did a gig there, and a famous porn star was there that night. Adult creator, and I guess content creator. That man did nothing on the box.
Oh no,
he stood there and two-stepped the entire fucking night.
So you do realize that when I was dancing at the Baltimore Eagle years ago under the old ownership and stuff like that, there were a couple of the dancers that were there that were literally just straight men that were there. They got by on barely even moving and just having huge packages. The amount of money that two of them got because they literally just had to stand there and have just their they engorged package there for men to touch. They got so much attention. It was honestly annoying to me so much. And I'm like, what do I have to do? I have to work harder now to beat that because I don't have that.
I'm glad you feel that way because I used to. Part of me is like, okay, there's a certain popular artist that I do not like. I'm not even gonna say her name because y'all not gonna cancel me. But that bitch get her money, okay? That bitch got a good business plan and she knows what she's doing and she attends to a certain crowd. And I guess I was thinking about the same thing. I was like, you know what? Some of these men out here, when they call themselves I think y'all should call yourselves like entertainers. Y'all aren't go-go dancers because go-go dancers dance. But I can't be mad at you for getting your money. You are getting your money. You know, you're out here, you're showing something off, and you get paid for it. But don't call yourself a go-go dancer. I think they need a different name because when I'm out here sweating on this motherfucking box, okay, and I got sweat dripping down my ass crack.
So you're trying to what is the term? You're trying to gatekeep go-go dancing.
Yes, I do want to gatekeep go-go dancing.
Gatekeep go-go dancing
because we dance. I have seen you dance. You have seen me dance.
Yes, I have.
I work my ass off, and it's not to just get paid. Like I enjoy it, and because I enjoy it, I push myself.
I wouldn't be doing it for this. I've been, like I said, 2017. I wouldn't. It's 8 years. 8 years at this point. I wouldn't be keep doing this if I didn't find it entertaining for myself.
And then I come on the box, and y'all be doing this shit. And then people just like, fuck y'all. I'm not gonna lie to y'all. Some of it, I hate seeing it sometimes. Yeah. I'm like, they need their own category. They just need engorged male dancer or engorged male statue figure.
And then there's ones that don't really have much charisma, even if they can dance, because half of the time when you're up there, you have to still engage with people, right?
True.
The most fun of the box is if someone's walking by and I see them just kind of, I just walk by and just kind of say like, oh, are you having a good time? And I even if they don't give me money, I try to at least engage with them because it's me trying to be like, oh, you're here, I'm noticing you.
Yeah.
You know, like it's because half the time people just like to be seen. If someone likes to be seen, because then what that can do is make someone then notice you more. You know, in the end as well.
I'm definitely
it's not foolproof, but it can happen though.
And as some of you, if you're trying to get to go-go dancing, I've made some of my best tips that way. And I don't do it because I'm trying to get tipped. Like I had one guy come up to me and he was doing the God complex thing, just staring at me, real DL dude. Yeah. And then I came off the box and I'm like, you can say hi. And this cheesy ass grin came across his face. And he was just like, oh, he's like, dude, you're so my type. And he's like, I'm just from out of town. And I started talking to him and he gave me a tip and he had this wad of money. And like one thing about me, I am not selfish. If we are all on the stage, I'm gonna tell the guy who tipped me to go tip my other friends, especially if you're brown. I'm not gonna hold you, like especially because as brown dancers, it's hard for us in certain venues in certain places.
Absolutely.
But my other friend, Sinister, he was over there on the box, and he came and tipped me. I said, go tip my friend too. And he went over there and he tipped my friend, and then he came back to me. He's like, thank you for referring me to go talk to him. He's like, I really connected to him. And then he gave me more money. But it wasn't about the money. But sometimes, like, when you actually, like, connect with these people, because, like, y'all got to understand, like, as a go-go dancer, like your job is you are there to energize the crowd.
Yes.
You are there to make people feel welcomed, to get people happy, and that sometimes involves like talking to people like you said and making them feel seen. That's a really big thing for me when I'm dancing because I hate when people come into the bar and they feel like they can't approach you, and I'm just like, you are human, just like me. As long as you're respectful and you come correct. We can talk. We can have fun. I'll dance on you. I'll grind on you. Like I'll have people like when they're scared, and I'll take their hands and I'm like, you can touch, and then I'll let them touch, and then they'll do. I think the worst thing that ever happened to me. I had one dude try and put money in my jock, and then he reached under my ass and tried to finger me.
Yeah,
I'm not saying I almost broke his hand.
Yeah, no, it's one of those things where that's where you have to enforce your own boundaries, and if they're going to disrespect that, then that's what security's for.
I held him and I gripped him by his fucking head neck, and I was what the fuck is your problem? And he's like, I'm like, no, you did that shit on purpose. I held on to him. Howard came and got him and threw him out the fucking bar.
Yeah.
I was like, y'all still gotta be careful on how you approach us.
You absolutely
just
do.
Because my ass is out don't mean you can put your finger in it.
No. No, I didn't prepare for that. I didn't clean out. And even if I did, still no.
All right. How do you maintain your personal power when so many people are projecting fantasies onto you? I like this question.
Well, For myself, it's about making sure that someone knows that they just can't monopolize my time in any sort of capacity, even if it's outside of an event. So, for example, sometimes some people say, message me like after events saying, "Oh, you looked great up there" and stuff like that. And, they try to maybe monopolize my time that way, especially if when I'm not, it's not a back and forth conversation. It's just them poking me about conversation. And I'm like, okay, cool. And as long as someone is not being super weird, it doesn't bother me too much. But it's about just understanding that when you are, engaging with other people in these spaces and everything, that one, they're usually pacing themselves out, and during the whole night, they're not wanting to expend all this energy on you in that moment, and you just have to really be confident in your own abilities in order to enforce your own boundaries and maintain your own balance. If you let other people control your time and your energy, it's gonna not go well over time. You're gonna get burnt out so quickly. And for me, I know that if like I'm done, if I'm like in between like sets or something like that, sometimes I'm like, okay, I feel social right now, I will go and interact with people. Other times I'm like, nope, I'm going in this corner where no one will talk to me, and therefore so it's about, you need to be able to control that, because because some venues will also control that time for you. If like if they say, "Oh no, you have to go back here to do this because we're telling you to," but unless you're dealing with that, you have to be the management of your own time. You need to know what your limits are. You need to know what your balance is. You can't let someone just override that. You cannot let people just dictate your boundaries. You dictate your own boundaries.
Dictate your own boundaries.
Exactly. No, it's because if you let other people do that, you will then internalize a lot of people pleasing and a lot of like, not letting not going for what you want to do. Because if you're on a box and then you're like, oh, this is getting me money, therefore I'm going to just do this. And then after a while, you're just going to be, you'll just view everything as transactional, when in the end, you want it to be, it is a little bit of transaction going on, but you don't want it to be all the time. You don't want to view every interaction as a possibility to do that, or a possibility to get maybe noticed or notoriety in some capacity. You need to know that, one, you can not have every moment of your life do that, especially in a gig like that.
Okay, a couple more questions, and we got 10 more minutes.
Absolutely.
Have you ever had to reject somebody mid-dance? What happened?
Yes. Mostly just because if someone is being very messy, I've had to just be like, okay.
Give us a story. What did they do to Mr. Indigo?
So this guy was just drunk off his ass, and
they couldn't do that. They couldn't have tried that sober with you.
No, drunk off his ass.
Indigo's a solid dude. Okay.
This guy was drunk off his ass, and he's one of those people that was kind of dancing in front of the box.
I hate that shit.
And I'm like, you're kind of like in the space now, and I'm trying to like project out.
Hold on.
Being a wall.
For those of you who don't understand, if you see go-go dancers, I hate when people do that. They will come dance in front of you. There is an invisible, like, 2-foot wall from the box. Yeah. Like, you need to give other people the opportunity to come up and tip us and come speak to us and go, do not dance in front of the box.
Yeah.
Because honestly,
unless it's like a crowded venue where everyone's like shoulder to shoulder, that is different. Absolutely.
But the reason why I say that to people is because I dance wild. Because my hands be going all over the place.
Absolutely.
And I have like hit somebody dancing, and it's not intentionally. It's because I'm moving and I'm expecting I move within the parameters of my box, and I have people come dance in my box. Don't do that. Don't do that.
Absolutely not. No.
But yes, tell us.
After a while, he would sometimes just kind of come up and want to like. He kind of wanted me to dance with him, and I'm like, oh, okay, yeah. And I kind of humored him a little bit, but then after a while, I'm just like, okay, please move off to the side. You are. Eventually he left, but I was just like, God, that was annoying, because I had to deal with the energy around me, and so it made me just feel like I had to just kind of ignore him, and because I had to actively ignore him, it affects just the vibe of the whole thing, because I have to actively ignure someone that is literally in my face.
Security, come get him.
Yeah, no,
come get him, please.
Yeah, that's usually the worst I've had to deal with. Not many people are going to be violating like other things like consent too much, which is good for the most part. And usually if they are, I'm usually just like, no, and then I just kind of push them away, and they usually get the hint, which is good. But yeah, so that's kind of like the worst that I've had to really deal with. Thankfully, I haven't had to deal with someone being overly like trying to like make out with me when I'm not in the mode or moment right now and stuff like that, which is
can't
good.
stand that either.
Yeah.
So, so our podcast is very much centered to brown people and kinks and fetishes and being a seasoned go-go dancer. What is a good, like, if you were, I'm a young brown, black boy trying to get into this, and I will say like I've met a lot of black dancers, but there's not a lot. So like, what would you tell somebody trying to get into go-go dancing? Like, what would you tell them to do to start?
Well, one, I would say go out to some events. See what dancers are out there, see what they're doing, see what energy they bring, see what looks they bring, and stuff like that. Oftentimes you can find things that vibe with you, like maybe a dancer's doing something that you really like to do, like maybe someone has more pole work, if there's a pole at a place. Other people are really good at just like, just rhythm and dancing overall. Some are good at putting looks together, and some are good at socializing with the crowd. Like, there you go. So I would say that kind of see what's out there, and then you become the dancer that you want to see on that box, right? And so that's the way I've carried myself all the time, is that I wanted to just kind of like be someone that I would want to walk up to and give $1, right? And or give some sort of tip, right? And so it is relatively more difficult for black and brown people to get more gigs in some cases. It really depends on the venue. Some venues make it easier and some make it harder. It really depends. Like there's a couple in DC that absolutely do make it harder, and then other ones that make it a lot easier. So it really does depend.
You'll have to give me that list later.
No,
later.
That's for another conversation.
Yes.
But I would say, definitely be your own advocate. No one else is going to do it for you. You need to be your own advocate. And then when you do make it into spaces, be advocates for other people. That's what you have to do, because that's what I'm always thinking about all the time, because I am cognizant of the fact that so many like gigs or events won't be aware of who they're hiring, and they'll just fall into patterns of who they think is hot, and then that means that oftentimes excludes black and brown people, because unfortunately a lot of white people tend to kind of don't think of black people, even if they are not, even if someone who can be sexually interested in the black and brown people, when they think of like, oh, who's porn pretty, and then they maybe won't think of a black person, or maybe think of a brown person, first. They'll think of them, yes, especially if they're like maybe in front of them in that moment. But when they're maybe by themselves, they might not think of that. Because think of every like adult category that you see out there. Yeah. Think of every adult category that you see out there. So many of those lists of people are like 95% white. Yes. So even though there's many like people out there that are sexy that are not white, they're usually not on those lists, especially in gay spaces, unfortunately.
When we did Furball, and when I tell you, I think that's one of the happiest gigs I've ever done.
Yeah, that was a really nice surprise when that happened.
It was just it was a black, I think one Latin guy.
It was Helton.
Yes, Helton.
Yes.
We were all POCs.
Yeah.
For Furball, which is a predominantly, it's mostly white dancers.
Past advertisement has been like that. I think the producer was very cognizant this time for World Pride about that, and I think he's being more cognizant about the body types he's bringing in too, because there was someone that danced for a Furball recently, and who was a big boy, and I'm like, oh, thank God, because I'm just like, so many times it's easy for events to just fall into just hiring an X body type or an X skin tone. Yeah. Like especially like, I mean, I know some parties in my head that I'm like, okay, they're going to be picking this kind of person, and it's usually because they're trying to pick people who are in adult content creation, and they usually are in a specific kind of body type.
Understand real quick, as a go-go dancer, every crowd is not your crowd. Understand that there are crowds for certain people. There are crowds. Don't feel like you can't be there, but just some clubs, like you
Yeah,
said, are
you
gonna
still need
preference
to
certain
be,
people.
you still need to know that you can take up space anywhere you are.
100%.
You can't let someone say that, oh, you can't take up space here. Like, is there a rule that says I can't? No, then I'm going to be here. That's what
Period.
that's essentially what you have to do as well. And that's what I'm always telling. That's why I have to say you have to be your own advocate in the end, because like if you know that you're good at what you do, or you know you have the ability to be good at this, then fight for that. You have to. That's what you have to do in the end.
All right, last question.
Yeah.
What advice do you give Black queer people or personnel trying to find real connection in hypersexual places?
Okay, so I caveat, because I am very light skinned, my experience is not the same as someone who's very dark skinned, right? For example, you and I are going to have different experiences in sexual spaces from the get go. Because when people look at me, they don't necessarily see a black person. They see, oh, he's not white, but I don't know what he is. He looks maybe Hispanic, and Hispanic people are hot. The amount of times I get mixed up for Hispanics too often. But because of that, my experience is different. The amount of times I've been, like, oh my, like, oh, you're exotic or something like that, which is far too often. But when it comes to being in sexual spaces, it's about knowing that some of the sexual energy that's being directed to you is going to be racist. It is.
Please listen.
And
Please listen.
It is going to be.
Please listen.
So, and it's about knowing how much emotional energy you're going to be willing to put into dealing with that. Because some people may be unknowingly putting that racist energy in their sexual expressions when they're not trying to, because so much of our society is just kind of ingrained it into us that some people are just do it and they're like, oh shit, that was racist. Oh, I didn't realize that. So it's like, for example, people who are saying like, oh my God, I just really love black dicks. They may not say it in their mind. They're thinking they're trying to be really nice. They think they're trying to be like, oh my God, you're amazing because you have that.
If you say that to me, we're not fucking.
Yeah. It's one of those things where it's kind of like because they think it's a good thing, right? So that's why I say that there's kind of like this inherent racism in a lot of that sexual expression. Now it can also be the same way where there's can be some, and especially when trying to interact with other black people in spaces, sometimes it can be an internalized bias to maybe not play with other black people as a black person. I've encountered that as well, or you can encounter that.
Oh, y'all, it's thundering outside.
It is a storm out there. Holy crap! But yeah, so it can be easy. It can be easy to encounter that as well. But in the end, it's about knowing how much, like I said, you can determine how much emotional energy you're willing to put into that. Right? So like for me, for example, if I'm in a space and I recognize that someone's interaction with me may be a little bit loaded with that, if it crosses the threshold, then I might speak up to that person, especially if I know they're at least going to listen to me. Now, if it's a one-off and they've only gotten to know them for 5 minutes, that might kind of give me pause and I might step back. But if it's someone that I have more emotional investment in, then I might be like, okay, I understand where you're coming from with this, and I would ask you not to approach it in this direction, and then there you go. So many people think that it's about either, you can cursing someone out or really just calling them out on something. You can, but oftentimes what that will do is, one, you're not putting in all this emotional energy on someone who's not willing to even listen at that point, right? So so it's about knowing that, okay, you note it. And then you can choose to end an interaction, or you can choose to continue it, but you know what your limits are with that, right?
Especially in the club spaces, like y'all, everyone is like, what I've learned is like everyone is looking for a certain thing at the club, and it's not always going to align with yours. And like you said, a lot of people do have racist tendencies when they're looking for a lot of their sexual fantasies to be fulfilled in these dark spaces.
Absolutely.
And I think for me as a black person being in these spaces, I think lately I've been very cognitive of just like, what are you looking for? And it's like, do you want to talk to Dominus because you like Dominus's personality, or do you like that Dominus can, it looks the way he looks, and this is something to check off your box? And like, granted, I'm very demisexual, so like when I'm in sexual spaces, I am looking for a minute connection for sexual engagement. Like it doesn't have to be like we in love, but like we gotta connect
Oh
on
God.
some type of level.
Yeah.
The days of you're hot, I'm hot, let's fuck are no more
Yeah.
because I'm not looking for a ton of sexual experiences, me personally. I like let me rephrase that. I want as much sexual experiences that are great. The
You're going for the
quickies,
quality of the sexual
yes.
experience.
I don't want a whole bunch of like shitty sexual experiences just because the bodies are great.
I'm not 20 anymore. I can't do that.
I can't. Like, I would rather have sex with 2 guys and the sex is really great than have sex with 10 guys and it's just like, eh.
Yeah.
And so when I'm in these spaces, as a black person in certain spaces, I carry myself very confidently, and I have to, because if I allow somebody to dictate my value to me, I used to let people do that to me, and it would allow myself, because I wanted to feel wanted. Oh, you're a nice. You look nice for a black guy,
Oof.
and that used to get me sometimes. Or oh, you speak nice for this, and like people were just being like racist to me, and I'm accepting it because I'm just like I want to feel valued. So when I say when you go into these spaces as queer black people, and that's why I understand a lot of black people don't go into other mixed spaces because they don't want to have to experience these things.
Yeah.
But if you are in other spaces where you are mixed, know your value.
Absolutely.
Know that you are worthy of being loved for who you are, your skin tone, whatever shade it may be, and do not let people dictate your value based off of your physical looks or what they think that you can fulfill for them. Don't let that shit happen, y'all.
Absolutely.
You was fine, you was sexy, you was beautiful, and you deserve it. Okay.
Oh my God, quoting the help over here. God.
All right, so we're gonna close out this episode in a little bit. We got a couple questions, so we have some questions from the community.
Yes.
And these are some people who have they need some help in their sex lives, and they have some questions for you.
Well, let's hope we can help them.
So here's one. What's the best diet for bottoms who are heavy lifting at the gym?
Okay, so one thing that you have to remember.
Short and sweet, because we gotta go.
One thing you have to remember is that fiber is your friend. Okay, so even if you're taking in all this protein for your muscles and all that stuff for your growing, just make sure you just sprinkle in fiber in almost every meal that you're doing.
How do you do it?
Usually it means because I'm either eating oatmeal or I'm doing brown rice, vegetables.
I'm a Metamucil boy. That shit every night.
But that's the thing. Taking fiber supplements on top of that is also very helpful. And there you go. It's really not that hard to get fiber in your diet. You really do, because in the end, it's also just going to help you just process your food better as well. There you go.
I take Metamucil every night before I go to bed. So it's very regular. And also, like, especially with being in prep for this competition, my diet is very consistent.
Oh, yeah.
So, like, there is no deviation in, like, how I use the bathroom. I don't lift as heavy as you, but I do work out as frequently as you.
Yes.
And, like, because of how good my diet is, a healthy diet as a bottom will help you. Because, like, it was crazy how, like, when I started the bodybuilding journey, my clean out and process time was, like, significantly shorter because my body was on this, like, regiment.
Oh, yeah.
Versus Sunday brunches, eating whatever you want, and, you know, Saturday night and doing all types of craziness. All right, last question.
Yeah.
For people who are into BDSM, give your top 5 advice for beginners.
Top 5? Oh, you're making me think of 5 things.
Let's do
now?
3.
Oh
Let's
my
do
God.
3. Let's keep it short.
Okay, there
Top
you go. I was
3.
gonna say 5. My God.
I'll start with the first one, and I'll give y'all the first one. BDSM, especially if you're going into like any type of play where restraints or control is being given, it is not what you see in porn. A lot of conversation is going to be had from the get-go.
If conversation's not being had with BDSM, you're doing it wrong.
Very much. Like the guy at the bathhouse talking about telling me when I'm gonna come and he don't know my fucking name. No, sir, it's not happening like that.
So when it comes to the BDSM, one, reading is your friend. Like you reading about anything, reading about the history of it is even your friend with that. So just understanding
the Leather Boy Handbook. I'm reading it. My sir's making me read it.
So many books about kink history as well. But yeah, just like reading up on it. You know, reading about like risks and dangers, because then when you're going into something with a person and stuff like that, you can then have those conversations. And if they know these things, it means at least you know they're thinking about it too, and not like oh I didn't know that, like. okay, well then why didn't you?
And if you're not a reader and you're in the DC area, if you join the Crucible has Dungeon 101 classes as well.
There you go. Absolutely. So yeah, I would say, reading up on something or even just like listening to someone talk about it, someone talking about their experiences, you learn so much that way because then you can learn what not to do oftentimes because so many people have made those mistakes and so therefore you don't have to remake those mistakes.
And I like giving y'all, I don't like giving y'all like advice and y'all don't know. So if you are in the DC area and you want to go, like he said, go somewhere to go talk to somebody about it. Every second Sunday of the month is Bluff at Trade. There's like 50 to 100 men in leather. And if you want to go ask there's a multitude of different ethnicities that go there. So you can find someone who looks like you and you can go ask them some questions about the leather community or being in BDSM if you have questions. Every second Sunday, that is definitely something you can do.
It's always a fun time for sure.
Yes.
And I would say a third bit of advice is that be open to, I would say, the possibilities of what could happen. BDSM is about oftentimes letting go of control, and so many of us have that problem where it's hard for us to let go.
Y'all be out
and
here.
sometimes
Jesus take the wheel.
Yeah,
I don't want to be in control at all.
so sometimes, but because so many people do, like they get in their head, like they think that they need to control every aspect of an interaction, when oftentimes there needs to be a level of trust with BDSM, and so therefore, that's where you have the actual conversations with someone when you're doing something BDSM related. But then it's about also just kind of like letting go and knowing what your limits are, but then at least not letting yourself be so tight the entire time. Kind of just like go with it, and maybe you can find out something that was a limit maybe is not as hard of a limit as it was before.
Yeah.
It's also about pushing those boundaries sometimes.
The last thing, when he said having that conversation, the continuous conversation, because I always used to think that, okay, well, he knows I don't like this, so that's it. But as you venture into your journey with the leather community and BDSM, your boundaries will change. And certain things that you didn't think you could handle at the beginning. And as a good person or a good dom or whoever you're giving control to, a good sign of that person is someone who's having continuous dialogue with you to make sure that you, they are being cognitive of where you are. Because as you journey into this, things are going to change. You may realize that, okay, I thought I wanted this and I didn't want this. And they have to make sure that, with that dominance and being given that control is a lot of responsibility.
It is.
It's a lot of responsibility. And it is up to you to make sure you're communicating truthfully in those spaces. Tell the people where they can find you.
Well, generally you can find me on social media through Indigo the Himbo oftentimes. So check me out on there on both Twitter, not the other name, and Instagram. So that's where you can usually find me.
Thank you for coming and being with us today. We really appreciate you and your Gogo experience. You are definitely a gem to the community. I love spending time with you and dancing with you, y'all. He's so sexy. Thank you guys for tuning into another episode of Frequency, your Black Queer Poly advice show, and we will see you guys next week. Bye, guys.
Have a good one, everyone.